Oh, speaking of, remember I was saying you could make a list and write it all down on touching up walls, your baseboards, your door frames, and all that kind of stuff. I've seen other people, they might make a master list or something like that, and then the person in charge could take blue masking tape and rip off little pieces and put a little piece there on the wall, a little piece there, and a little piece on the door frame and over there. And you come in to do it, and my word, you see all these blue things all over the place. Well, now you know exactly where they are, and you can just pull that masking tape off as you go. Okay, so there's something you can do. I just got done painting this door frame, and it's drying now. And I did it exactly how I showed you I was going to do it. And it really turned out looking sweet. Okay, what am I going to do now? Oh, that's funny. What am I going to do now? Of course, I've got other things to do. I've got to cut in the wall down to the baseboard. See, all the way along the baseboards, and then the same thing, the wall color, I've got to do around the door frames. Okay, I had to cut that in. It's easier to cut in the wall paint rather to the door casings and baseboards rather than your door casings and baseboards painting that edge up next to a finished wall. You know what I mean? So that's how I like to do it. I mean, you could do it the other way. I've seen painters do it both ways, but for a novice, a handyman, a weekend warrior, painting the wall into your already cut in door casings and your baseboards are the way to go. Trust me on that. Here's one thing I wanted to show you when you're painting. Every once in a while you might come in cahoots with a inspection door such as this, you know, for next to a bathroom where your jacuzzi tub is, or you know, somewhere where there's a water line. This condo happens to have a fire sprinkler system, and a main shutoff valve is down there. The fire sprinkler system's here, so they put this in here in the bathroom, and I'm going to end up putting a picture over that, but I adjusted the door because the door was not letting this thing close, and I went ahead and sanded this and sanded all the paint drippings off of here from the last person. I'm just painting the same color as the wall, and I've already put one coat on there. It looks actually pretty good, doesn't it? But I think I'm going to put I can see where there's a few marks and blemishes on here, and I'm going to go ahead and put one more coat of paint over this door frame and the door. Or maybe I'm just going to do the door. Maybe I'll just do the door. The door frame trim looks pretty good, and I want to get all that done before I finalize painting the wall up next to that. Okay, it's always good to do that, you know, in case you ever have something in your wall or something. Do that painting first and do a good job. I mean, this thing was all crappy. It was rubbing and stuff. There was paint on the outside. Edge was building up. I sanded it all and got it all nice and pretty, and did a really good job on it. And now I'm going to put a second coat over just this panel. I could lightly etch it with sandpaper first. I don't know if I'm going to have to do that or not. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to put one more coat of paint on there and forget about it, because that second coat of paint will stick on the first coat of paint that I put on. Okay, and that's how you do that. If you don't want that showing, like I said, there's going to be a toilet here. There's going to be a pedestal sink in here, because this is only a half bath, and we'll find something to cover that up, because I don't really want to see it. So do I really have to paint it again? Probably not. But I think I may anyways. I don't know. Now I'm thinking to myself here, do I paint it again or not? What would you do? I'll let you decide that one for yourself. I wanted to share something really quick with you. My finger is so sore, it feels like there's a sliver in it right in here, but there's not. It's just that the skin is split just a little bit, not very much, but it's painful. And I've been working, if you've been watching my videos, I've been working, painting in a condo and all kinds of stuff, washing my hands, rinsing paintbrushes out and working with paint and stuff. My hands, my thumb is all chapped, and it started splitting the other day right there. Actually, I had one over here that split, and this one's fine now. You know why? Because I've been repairing my fingers, and I used to use this stuff here, Sulfic Sage Hardworking Hands. You can use this stuff from O'Keeffe's Hardworking Hand stuff, and it's just like greasy stuff, almost like Vaseline. But and then try to put it on there, but it doesn't fix the cracks. And I thought, wait a minute, I got something in the garage that'll fix that. Kaboom. Look at this Gorilla Super Glue Gel. I use the Super Glue Gel rather than just the Super Glue, but you could use either one. And I thought, how silly of me. I should have been using this all along. And Momi every once in a while, her fingers will start splitting right in there and on her fingers and up in here. That's painful too. You get it wet and it starts stinging. Well, I'm just going to put some of this on there. And I've got this magazine out because I don't want it to drip on a countertop. Even if you put a paper towel down or a napkin or something like that, don't do that. It bleeds through that and will get on the counter. Why do I know that? Because it's happened to me, that's why. Okay. Come on. There. Just that little bit. And you know, like I said, I had that over there, and this one all healed up. Now I'm just going to leave that on there just like that. Just like that. And it's going to dry. It's going to be fine. You know, surgeons sometimes use super glue. And you know, I was reading an article one time, scuba divers, if they cut themselves under the water, and if you have crazy glue with you, you can put a cut together, put some crazy glue on it underwater. Really? That's what I heard. And I like to store this flat, like that. I don't like to leave it up like that. And lots of times I might even have it up at an angle. That way your tip doesn't dry out. When your tip dries out, it's hard to get the crazy glue out. Right in there, because you want a small little tip. I used to cut that open with my 10 snips or my electrical cutters, and then the hole would get a little bit bigger. But what I do now, and then I used to get a paper clip and poke in there, or a little pin, and do that. But then if this gets filled up, and if it's hard to do it that way, you can take just a thin, small little tiny drill bit and drill it, and then you've got your hole again. And I try to get it in the larger containers like this. That way it doesn't have a tendency to dry out as much. If you get those little ones, it's almost like use it one and done, because those small little containers of crazy glue, once you open it, forget about it. You're not going to be using that again anytime soon, like 2 months from now. The tip dries up and it's hard to get it out. So I just get the bigger one. Super glue gel, baby. That's how you're going to fix these cracks. All right, time to go to work and do some more painting. Just a few minutes later, it feels way better already. Of course, it's going to harden up and stuff, and I'm just going to leave that alone. Don't get it wet for, 5, 10, minutes or so, and just leave it on there and do its thing. It's working, and you'll feel much better.